So recently I made a video about my favorite games of all time, and I said I might make a part 2, it depends, but it seemed like a lot of you enjoyed the video where I shared some of my favorite games of all time, so we're just going to dive right back into part 2 and go over some more of my favorite games of all time. So let's just get into it. So the first game is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and it is without a doubt my favorite game in the Assassin's Creed franchise. From the moment I set sail in the game, I was hooked. The game perfectly blends naval exploration, combat, and a compelling story centered around Edward Kenway, a pirate turned assassin. The open world design is phenomenal, with countless islands to explore, treasures to uncover, and epic sea battles to engage in. The freedom to roam the Caribbean, upgrade your ship, and hunt for legendary ships makes the game stand out from the rest in the series. What really sets Black Flag apart for me is how it captures the spirit of adventure and piracy while staying true to the core of Assassin's Creed mechanics. It's a game I've replayed multiple times. I even 100%ed it at one point on the Xbox, and it's also where I think this franchise peaked, as I feel it went completely downhill from here, but that's a different story. Not everyone's going to agree with that. I also have Mirage, but I haven't played it yet, so I don't know how good that game is, so I'm not including that one with the rest of the newer ones that have come out after 4, but I plan to play that game soon. And I just want to say, I don't think Origins, Odyssey, or Valhalla, well actually I do think Valhalla is a bad game, but that's besides the point. We'll just go with Origins and Odyssey. I don't think they're necessarily bad games, because I actually quite enjoyed those games. I just don't think that they're good Assassin's Creed games. Next up is Far Cry 5, and while most people would probably put Far Cry 3 on their list if they were choosing their favorite Far Cry game, for me it's Far Cry 5 that I like the most. It's the Far Cry game that I had the most fun with, and I absolutely like its setting, its theme, more than any other game in the series. It's the Far Cry game that I have played the most out of all of them. I've also replayed it countless times. I like the characters, the story, the gameplay. I mean, I'm not sure there is much about it that I don't like, if I was to be honest with you. I would have a hard time telling you something I just really don't like about the game. But the game also has a fantastic soundtrack, and it's the one game in the franchise I feel like I always can come back to have the most fun. And just for a little bonus, for those of you that want to know my least favorite Far Cry game, or game in the Far Cry franchise, it is probably Far Cry New Dawn. I mean, I couldn't even finish that game. It was just really bad in my opinion. The next game is Warframe, and Warframe is just one of those games I probably should have included in my part 1 video, because I played this game quite a bit, and I first played it on Xbox, and then I switched to PC later and I picked it up again. I had to restart though, because there wasn't a cross save at the time and I couldn't transfer over my progress, or maybe I just didn't know about it. Either way, it's a game that I played a lot and one I constantly return to. Even if I do take breaks, I always end up coming back. What's interesting about Warframe to me, besides the game itself, is that I don't usually enjoy many space or sci-fi games, but somehow the design of the worlds, the gameplay, the Warframes themselves, and the fact that each one has unique and cool powers just make it stand out to me. This game is just so unique in about every single way. One of the other things I like about this game is that everything in this game is pretty much free. You can play through all the content, you can get all the items, all the guns, all the Warframes, you can get that all for free. And one of the things I like is that you can sell items to other players for the premium currency, platinum, to use for yourself. Instead of having to buy platinum, you can sell and trade items in the game to other people to get platinum. And that is just awesome, because there's some things that you can only get with platinum, but if you don't want to buy the platinum, you can slowly earn the platinum. And when I say slowly, I mean it depends where you are in Warframe. Like, if you're just starting out, you probably won't earn that much platinum. But if you're later on in Warframe, you can definitely earn a good amount of platinum. And it's just one of those games where I felt like it was so good, I had so much fun, and I pretty much played so much of the game for free that I felt like I should just get a DLC, one of the DLC packs, or get some platinum just to support the game. Sure, the game is kind of grindy, and for some that might be a downside, but for me, I don't really mind the grind. It's part of the experience, and Warframe is just one of those games I'll probably keep playing until the servers are shut down. As I mentioned earlier, Warframe is free, so if you haven't given it a try before, I recommend that you go out and play it. You know, give it a try, see if you like it, because there's just so much content in the game to enjoy. So if you do end up liking the game, there's just going to be so much there for you to enjoy. So the next game is Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, which is, in my opinion, one of the best zombie games ever released. I know many people prefer the first game or the third game or even the original Dead Rising 2, the non-off the record version, but for me, Off the Record takes everything that was great about the first game and improves upon it in every way. It also adds extra content to the second game, so it's basically the second game but with extra content, and it includes a sandbox mode. I can't even count how many hours I spent in that mode on the 360, on Xbox One, and on PC. The combo weapons, the introduction of combo vehicles like the chainsaw bike, and playing as Frank West again instead of Chuck Green really set this version apart for me. Honestly, when I think of going back and replaying a Dead Rising game, I think of Dead Rising 2 Off the Record. There's just something incredibly satisfying about slaying zombies with whatever items you find, or combining them to create over-the-top powerful weapons. Sure, it's unrealistic at times, but Dead Rising has never really been about realism, and it's always been about fun, and this game just does it the best, in my opinion. With that said though, it was kind of a tough decision because I really do like the first Dead Rising as well, but the combo weapons and the setting give Dead Rising 2 Off the Record an edge for me. It also has sandbox mode, and who doesn't like sandbox mode? And don't even mention how Dead Rising 4 is just great and a really fun game, because we all know that that's a lie. The next game is Battlefield 1, which I'm not even sure it needs an introduction because I feel like at this point everyone has played this game by now, and there's still quite a lot of people playing it to this day. In fact, it has more players than Battlefield 2042. Now, there are quite a few games in the Battlefield franchise that can compete as the best Battlefield game, but out of all those games, I feel Battlefield 1 is the best one, and I have played it the most out of any Battlefield game. I played it on Xbox and then PC, and I have had hours and hours of fun. The campaign is pretty good and tells a bunch of mini stories, which I think was a cool way to do the campaign, and was the first Battlefield game to do a campaign like that. The multiplayer was an absolute blast and probably the biggest highlight of the game, of course. This is the game where I think Battlefield really peaked, and after this it slowly went downhill, and by slowly I mean almost immediately, but it still has amazing graphics for being almost 9 years old. I mean, my goodness, all the effort and detail that was put into this game is just kind of crazy, and with the way that the franchise is going, I'm not sure there's going to be a Battlefield game in the near future, at least, that's going to top Battlefield 1, but we will have to see. The next game is It Takes Two, and It Takes Two is a game I've only played through once, but it left such a lasting impression that I can still recall every part of the game. The game is absolutely fantastic. Honestly, when I first got the game, I wasn't actually expecting much, just something fun to play with my brother and some content for a video and live stream, but I was blown away by how fun, goofy, funny, and serious this game managed to be all at once. The story, characters, gameplay, and level design are all top notch. This is one of those games where you just need to grab a friend or family member and just dive right in. I mean, there's a reason it won Game of the Year. The way the gameplay changes as you progress through the game and how each player has an important role in the gameplay is just fantastic. There's a part of the game that involves squirrels and like wasps and shooting at them, and it's like a war between squirrels and wasps, and it's just probably my favorite part of the game. I mean, I don't want to spoil too much because if you haven't played this game, you really should. It was just my favorite part of the game and just a really cool part of the game, and I just might have to get someone to play through this game with me again. By the way, only one person needs to own a copy of the game to play with friends, so if you own a copy of the game, your friends can simply download a friend pass to join you. And if you enjoy It Takes Two, I'd also recommend checking out the developer's previous game, A Way Out, as it's another great co-op experience.
Just launch it.
Here we go.
What a terrible throw.
That's pretty pathetic.
What were you aiming for?
The
Where's
open
it
window
going?
right there. I was trying to get through that open window. I'm just
Alright,
stretching. I'm just
Here we
stretching.
go.
What are
Now
you
wait
aiming?
for it. Cash money.
Still got it.
Aiming for what?
That fucking plane has a mind of its own. It didn't go nowhere where I aimed it.
It's going out
At
to the
all.
ocean.
At all. That's terrible.
And you blame my throw. Plants vs. Zombies is hands down the best tower defense game I think I've ever played. I remember spending countless nights playing this game with a friend on Xbox, staying up late trying to see how far we could get in the endless mode. The concept of Plants vs. Zombies is as unique as its gameplay. It offers so much variety with its story mode, free play, endless mode, and mini games. It's just an all-around fun and well-designed game. The sheer variety of plants you can use to defend your lawn, combined with the diverse types of zombies you face, keeps things exciting every time you play. Honestly, I'd like to see this game get a remaster. It could use an update to bring it to a new generation of players and just a visual upgrade anyway. But even if that doesn't happen, one thing's for sure is that we got to keep those pesky zombies off of our lawn. Next up is Half-Life Alyx, and Half-Life Alyx is probably the best VR game that I think I've played so far. The game looks absolutely fantastic, and the story, characters, sound design, world design, and gameplay just immerse you in the world of Half-Life. I remember being so excited for this game when I first seen it announced, and it did not disappoint when I played it. The attention to detail in the game is crazy. I mean, there's a piano in the game that works exactly like a real piano, and you can play music on it, and I know that sounds kind of like a weird thing to mention, but it's just really cool. It really does just suck you into the world of Half-Life, and I would recommend this game even if you haven't played the previous Half-Life games, as it is still a very good standalone game. On top of that, the game is easily moddable thanks to the modding tools that come with the game and are free in the Steam Workshop, so even after you're done playing the game, there are a ton of fantastic modded stories and levels to play through as well. This game is kind of like a must-get game for VR, to be honest. And the last game for this video, but not least, is Just Cause 3. And Just Cause 3 is an over-the-top open-world action game that fully embraces chaos and destruction. It's all about blowing stuff up in the most spectacular ways possible. Whether you're toppling massive enemy bases, causing chain reactions with explosives, or tethering objects together with your grappling hook for hilarious results. This game is just pure, unfiltered fun. The massive open world is stunning, offering plenty of opportunities to explore, experiment, and wreak havoc. The wingsuit and parachute mechanics add a unique sense of freedom and mobility, letting you traverse the map in style. If you haven't played this game and you're looking for a game that doesn't take itself too seriously unless you unleash your inner action hero, Just Cause 3 is the perfect playground for destruction. I have played this game an absolute ton when it came out, especially on Xbox, and I even got the collector's edition and the plastic replica grappling hook that came with it. I was also a big fan of Just Cause 2, which is the reason I got Just Cause 3 in the first place, and I think that 3 takes everything about the second game and improves upon it in every way. And one thing I'd never want to talk about is Just Cause 4, because that game disappointed me in every way possible. It is basically the opposite of Just Cause 3. And that was the last game for this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment below, tell me some of your favorite games of all time and what you think about this video. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because you want to be subscribed, and I will see you next time.